Lavoro in corso qui di fronte ad una costruzione e questa scolastica che è appena uscita dalla Maat. Il Maat è un museo di arte, architettura e tecnologia ricavato dalla ristrutturazione di questo edificio molto bello che era un centrale elettrica e noi tra qualche minuto incontreremo il direttore Pedro Gadanho. Magnifica vista sul Tago, siamo nell'ufficio dell'architetto Pedro Gadanho, buon pomeriggio, che è il direttore del Maat. So we are here in the office of the architect Pedro Gadanho, so good afternoon, and it's very nice to have this office here.
It's one of the reasons why I came back from New York.
Ecco, noi vogliamo conoscere meglio lei. È una carriera spesa anche molto all'estero, curatore del settore di architettura del MoMA, poi anche impegni con la Turchia e poi anche con il Cile e anche un bellissimo progetto che ha coinvolto i giovani del progetto IAP tra il MoMA e il Maxxi. Ci può raccontare un po' di sé, perché questo amore dell'architettura e perché poi è tornato in Portogallo?
Well, first of all, I'm an architect, so I was also a practicing architect, but I always understood and was interested in architecture as a cultural practice, as something that relates to culture, and that's as film or literature or the visual arts can have something to say about the current situation, about our context and about the evolution of society. So I always took architecture from that angle, and therefore I started curating, starting projects in which, in a way, through exhibitions or through writing, one analyzes how the condition is changing in the world of architecture. And that indeed finally brought me to MoMA, where I was the curator of contemporary architecture, where I continued to explore certain themes that I was interested, which shows on architecture and politics, with these young practices and how they are transforming the way architects work. And finally, that also brought me to this new challenge, this new opportunity, which is to create almost from zero, to create a museum in spaces that are also already existing, others were already under construction, but with the ability to define a program that really connected the visual arts with architecture and also with notions of technology.
Ecco, qui siamo nella parte della sala macchine della centrale elettrica. Molto affascinante però come appunto reperti industriali che sono stati salvati, che hanno una vita nuova attraverso l'utilizzo di spazi come per installazioni museali o anche proiezioni, come vedete.
So the museum is truly interdisciplinary, and in that sense it's quite unique because it will tend to explore the impact of architecture and technology on our lives through the vision of artists, rather than having architects or artists side by side.
Quali sono i progetti futuri del Maat? Ci sono già degli appuntamenti, delle mostre, dei calendari?
Yes, in March, really the first big exhibition. It's one of the first exhibitions that I call manifesto shows, in which precisely artists and architects come together to discuss a certain theme. And in this case, we chose the theme Utopia Distopia, not only because of the 500 years of Thomas More's publication of Utopia, but also because of the changing political condition and how artists and architects can both reflect this condition and have done so through time. So it's an exhibition that goes from the 1970s, when architects like Superstudio or Archigram were really reflecting upon a new consumer society and were reflecting on other ways of organizing the city and societies, up till today, and the work of artists that really produce a sort of critique of what's happening in, as I said, the current political situation. But I The following year is called Eco-Visionaries, and it's precisely one of the projects in which we are intending to collaborate with the Maxxi, and we have already discussed this collaboration. So that's then we have time to collaborate with different institutions, and we have 5 partners engaged into this common project of at least researching for the catalog of the exhibition together, and then each one producing their own contents. And basically this one takes up situations like climate change and the importance that ecology is playing in our lives, but from a perspective of really going back to how ecological thinking has influenced visionary thinking in both artists and architects. So
Ecco, a proposito di partnership e di collaborazione con il Maxxi, il Maxxi si occupa, soprattutto nella sezione di architettura con Margherita Cuccione, di presentare anche dei progetti relativi a dei giovani, a delle scoperte di giovani. Che cosa pensa? Con il Maxxi continuerà su questa strada?
Well, I was actually involved with the Young Architects program. That was this connection or partnership between the MoMA and Maxxi, and I think it's a fantastic program to give opportunities to younger architects to really show what they are thinking about and what kind of new ways of understanding architecture they can bring to the practice. And we are actually also thinking about starting a program that leads to the creation of a pavilion, but probably is an art and architecture collaboration. I think museums play a fundamental role in precisely allowing people to think through certain cultural features, possible innovation that it's very difficult to install in the real world under market conditions. So,
qui siamo nella sala de agua, una delle parti della centrale elettrica, molto finalmente colorata. A proposito di ruolo, ecco, il museo Maat è un simbolo del recupero di edifici antichi in disuso con qualcosa di nuovo. Anche Lisbona si sta ponendo così, cioè ci sono tantissimi edifici che prima erano desueti, ora ristrutturati. È questa la funzione dell'architetto?
well, it's also the function of politicians and other decisors in the city. Decision makers in the city. I mean, the question is that maybe because Lisbon was not so rich over the last 40 or 50 years, these led to a sort of stagnation of the economy, and the city was kept in a state that allows now for a sort of refurbishment, which is understood in a very different manner from 30 or 40 years ago. If we were refurbishing the city 40 or 50 years ago, probably much would be destroyed and new buildings would take the places. Although I would say that Rome in that respect is very similar, but because areas are protected historically and so you cannot change so much. but still you can revive the city from the inside. So the Central Tej, the power station that we have here, is a good example of something that was left, never abandoned, but at least not used. And that when we started to use it as a cultural center, there was never the intention to strip it off of its machinery and so on. So it was left in a condition that now is pretty unique, unlike Tate Modern, for instance.
Ecco, qui fanno vedere appunto come si lavorava, come lavoravano qui gli operai per far funzionare la centrale. Queste immagini sono la testimonianza di tante le persone che hanno lavorato in questa centrale, un omaggio doveroso. Noi siamo Good in Italy, What TV, parliamo delle eccellenze non solo italiane ma anche all'estero. Secondo lei l'eccellenza del futuro è quella proprio del recupero di nuovi spazi?
I think that would depend on different spaces, but I do defend that in Europe, because the population is not exactly growing, except if you consider migration fluxes. But as Europe is getting old, I think we should focus more on recovering and refurbishing whatever exists there, rather than taking up new land, because I think those should be kept also intact, because again of an ecological balance when you talk.
Saluto per gli spettatori di Good in Italy mirato ai giovani studenti di architettura. Qual è il suo messaggio?
Well, always that you must believe that architecture is a creative practice and not just a mere provider of a service, a technical service without any content. I think if you lose that ability to remain creative and to insert ideas, cultural ideas into the projects, I think really then you become just constructors.